I've been a taxi driver for about 5.5 years. A friend of mine was driving a taxi, and I sort of worked out exactly how much he earned, and I thought it was quite attractive. I don't feel strange that way in terms of going to work when everyone else is coming home. It's what I've become used to. And I think it's good because I get the days free as well in the afternoons and sort of early evenings. In the summertime, that's great. The thing is, I only own half that car. A friend of mine and myself bought it, and he works during the day, I work at night. Just so happens he's ill at the moment, which is why it's on the drive. I think taxi driving is quite a solitary job because, 80% of the time you're driving people who you don't know. So the only time you really interact with other people that you're familiar with or other drivers is when you're actually on the ranks and when it's quiet. In terms of my state of mind whilst at work, it really depends what kind of night it is. If I don't want to work, I don't have to ask anyone, I don't have to pull a sickie. I mean, I can work when I want to, really. In fact, any taxi driver can. Pretty much, but I think most of them you find hire their cars, in which case they have to, if they pay 300 quid a week to work at night, it means they have to have the car from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. So if they want to make the most of it, then they drive those hours. But you don't have to. You can arrive at 10 o'clock at night, pick up the car and go for 6 hours and finish at 4. To do the same kind of hours in any other job compared to what I'm qualified for, I think be a bit hard pushed. We work around that in terms of time spent with my daughter. Like at the weekends when I'm working most of all, that's when her social life kicks in. Well, it's quite funny when sort of couples are arguing in the back and stuff. I think it's quite amusing because I'm sort of right there and obviously I can hear everything. I'll only intervene at the point where, it's going to get stupid, or if there's perhaps a threat of violence, or if it gets too loud and screaming and stuff, then I guess I probably have, and I would, ask him to shut up. I'm not sure exactly really how people generally perceive me in the car. I guess, some drivers just don't say anything or chat at all, despite the fact that the passenger might try and get something going. I know because I've been in taxis and I've tried to say, how you doing? And some of them are just quite, I don't know, very antisocial really. I gave some kids a lift from town one Friday night at about 1 in the morning, and they wanted to go to Southwick, which is straight down the coast, really, isn't it? And but they wanted to come up to Asda Hollingbury first to get something to eat. So anyway, get up here. Would you like a Coke or anything, mate? Before they get out of the car. I said, no, I'm alright, thanks, I just got one. Anyway, 5 minutes later, they come running out saying, go, go, drive! So anyway, who am I to argue, really? So I drove, and but it just transpired that they'd nicked about £1,000's worth of stuff. And they just legged it out of there. Nobody stopped them, nobody chased them. Anyway, I wasn't about to sort of, you know, point out how wrong it was and drive them down the police station. But they gave me a PlayStation 2 game. Thank you very much, mate. They told me where I could sell it and get 25 quid. And I drove them to Southwick. But I did go to the police afterwards and I reported it and I gave them the disc and stuff, but they weren't too interested, to be honest. But I thought that was quite funny, really, being a getaway driver. You know, there's certain people that when you drive down the street, that they try and flag you down. Obviously, it's almost risk assessment, really, is what it is. If you see 4 blokes and you can see that they've got attitude if they're swaggering down the street, or if they stick a hand out, you generally wouldn't pick them up.
It's just that it's like very inspiring, the way you can like express your body, the way you
sometimes you know, people, you know, if I'm not talking and I'm just driving and concentrating, off you go. You do get people who you can see are obviously uncomfortable with that silence, and therefore ask me, how is your night going? And you can tell because it's after 3 minutes silence. If they do talk, if it's an interesting topic, then I think it's quite nice, and I would probably prefer that. But there again, I wouldn't push a conversation. If I don't feel like talking, I wouldn't talk. I've tended to work at night throughout most of my life anyway. I guess it is a different kind of world working at night. I'm sort of living in another world of existence. It's not one that bothers me particularly. I'm quite used to it and quite comfortable with it. But I wouldn't like to rely on it as a source of income for the rest of my life. If I could just reserve it for a Friday and Saturday night, that would be my personal preference. But unfortunately, I need to do more than that at the moment.